Right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the May 19 edition, 2021 edition of the Emigrate Open Day. If you can hear me, do me a favor and just send a message in the chat to say you can hear me. I know we would not be able to unmute ourselves for now, but do send a message in the chat. So I'm sure I'm audible. Fantastic. I can see your messages coming in. Thank you. I'll just allow an extra 30 seconds or so for those getting in from the waiting room to get in, and then we will start. All right, so welcome everyone to today's edition of the Emigrate Open Day. And Emigrate is helping people to see tech-enabled pathway to relocation and settlement. We call it helping you to find tech-enabled visa opportunities. My name is Bade Adeshemowo. I'm co-founder and CTO of Social Lender, amongst many other things. And I'll be your facilitator for today's edition. We have our guest waiting as well, who will be joining us and will be taking most of today's session. How today's session will go is for the first 5 or so minutes, 5 to 10 minutes or thereabout, I'm going to be sharing some background as regards Emigrate and what Emigrate stands for, what is it about, and so on. And once I'm done with that, we will hand over to our guest for today's session, Dr. Jossy, who is a medical doctor, but also in technology. And he will be taking over and sharing with us his journey and some tips in terms of information that you may not know, and more important, information that you may not know that you do not know. Once we're done with that, we will go into our question and answer session where you can send as many questions as you want, either to the Emigrate team or also to the guest specifically from what the guest spoke about during his session. I would say that if you already came into this room with questions, so that you don't forget, I would say drop it in the chat immediately, so that way we can get your question. And of course, we prioritize questions that come from the Emigrate community, followed by questions as they are listed on the chat. So if you already had questions, please post them in the chat. It may help as well. So what is Emigrate? What we do at Emigrate is we help you become globally attractive. And there are 2 ways to that globally attractiveness. One is either with a tech-enabled profile, so your tech profile itself being globally attractive, and then or your tech-enabled business, typically a startup, a tech startup as well. The key thing that we would like you to remember is this, that the visa itself is only a side effect of this objective. So yes, there are tech-enabled visas available for many countries all over the world, and we'll be sharing some of those with you during this session. However, we are hoping that you will realize that, oh, this is not so much about me just getting a visa, but because there's life after the visa, I want to be globally attractive because I will do much more, I will do better, whether in Africa or anywhere else I want to be in. A few things we must mention up front is that for now, Emigrate is focused on tech-enabled pathways. And so if you are not passionate about tech, then you are in the wrong room for today, because we'll only be talking about tech opportunities and tech-enabled visa opportunities. But please understand that when I said tech, I meant technology and not just the technical side of technology, because there's a business side to technology as well that has many opportunities: digital marketing, project management, and so on. And even the investment side of tech as well, there are very many visa opportunities available. And we'll be sharing some of them today as well. But you also have to be interested in attaining global mobility. If you're not interested in putting in the work that you need, or also, then you may be in the wrong room. How this started for us is that we were trying to solve a challenge that existed around us, seeing people within our organization and people within our network who did not realize opportunities that we saw that were available. even sometimes when we tell these people about those opportunities, they still don't understand that, oh, it could actually be me. When you hear the word exceptional talent, exceptional promise, you sort of overlook yourself to say, it's probably not me they're talking about. Whereas the truth is that we can all get to that level and get to that level of recognition as well. So we found it hard to convince people to start a plan and to stick with the plan. And so that's why we, part of the reason why we started Emigrate, for us to be able to provide several things. First of all is information, coaching, hand-holding, strategy, consultation, advisory, and also a community of like-minded people who are also on this same journey with you as well. And that's what Emigrate is about. Where we see Emigrate in the future is to solve two problems that we see. The first one is global mobility for African founders and techies. I'm an African founder myself, and I realized that there's so many opportunities all over the world, but somehow, for those of us on the continent of Africa, I'm from Nigeria, and there are several other people from other parts of Africa on this call today. Some of those opportunities just sort of eludes us because of many reasons. But what we are trying to do with Emigrate is to solve that problem and also help individuals become globally attractive. Eventually, we hope that this will become a startup of itself, but for now, it is incubated by Bincom Dev Center. Why does this thing work? The reason why it works is very simple. Every country in the world, every forward-looking country in the world is looking for talent. Is looking for people to contribute to their economy. Is looking for people to help them build their economy, to bring value into their economy. They don't want people that would be a burden to their tax system, to their economic system. Instead, they want people that can contribute as much as possible to their economy. And because of that, they have made it available such that the people that are top of their class, top of their career, people that will be able to create jobs, people that will be able to add value, people that will be able to bring innovation and so on, will easily come to their countries. And when I say countries, I'm speaking about the UK, the US, Canada, France, many countries all over Europe as things like startup visa and so on. All of these things are available. The reason is what I've just said, because they are also trying to build their economy, not particularly because they like you or because they just want you to be there as well. They want to build themselves. Our focus is to help you become globally attractive, and you need to understand that your life will not stop at the point when you migrate. I know some of us in this room are here because, oh, I want to be anywhere but here. But we are hoping that you are thinking beyond just being an immigrant to becoming an expatriate. And something I say, and you can check it in the dictionary, is that there's only one key difference between the word immigrant and expatriate today in the dictionary. And that key difference is where you are coming from, what side of the pond you are. So if you are coming from Africa, or developing economies to develop economies, then you are called an immigrant. But if you're coming from a developed to a developing economy, you are typically called an expatriate. And so the question is that even if the world has not reached that level, can you get to a point where you are going to other countries as an expatriate, as a professional, as somebody that is bringing value to them, not the other way around. I mentioned already, zero interest in digital technology. This is the wrong pathway for you. There are many other pathways, but this would not be the pathway for you in this case. Not many people ever think that they are exceptionally talented, and that's something else that you should bear in mind. One moment, please. Sorry about that. Yes, so that's something that you should bear in mind. And in some cases, your business itself can become not just your visa. Remember, I spoke about tech-enabled pathways, and I spoke about tech-enabled businesses. Your business may be your ticket. I've traveled to many countries in the world where it was actually the company that paid for my ticket to go to those countries. For some people, this is a slide that you probably want to take a screenshot of, because you can Google some of these information. You can search for them. Some of them is the UK, in the US. For the UK, there's the startup visa, there's the innovator visa, there's the global talent visa, which is one of the visas we'll be speaking most about during today's session. And for the US, there are several other visa opportunities as well, across the different countries that we are tracking. For now, Emigrate is tracking 4 key countries: the UK, the US, Canada, and France. Those are the 4 key countries that we are tracking in terms of opportunities that are available, and also coaching to help people, gain access to some of those opportunities available to them. Tech-enabled profile, tech-enabled business. These are some visas in each one of those categories, as I mentioned. Emigrate is a bunch of services that we've put together that is able to help you, particularly if you are on this journey. We do a lot of things for free, but there are also premium offerings as well within the Emigrate plan. The first one is the community. We are building a community called the Emigrate community for people that have like-minded passion and are interested in this journey. That community is currently on both WhatsApp and Telegram, and you can find the link to the community. We also run the monthly open day, which is what most of us are on at the moment. And these monthly open day are also free to members of our community. We bring guests who are able to share their journey and also inspire, and also provide some direction, and also answer questions. We'll have a premium community that is much more serious, and for people that are actually serious on this journey, it's a paid community on an annual basis, but this premium community actually helps in terms of taking your journey to the next level. Also, if you're ready to apply, you may need something like a personalized consultation. It's a 1-hour session where we can take a look at your documents if you've already prepared the document, or if you need handholding to say, oh, what kind of documents do I need? What do I need? I need to build a roadmap, and so on. This package is available for you. But my own favorite is the Emigrate Premium Service, which is a full-fledged 1 to 2 year program. It's a coaching program. It's an handholding program. And what happens is that over a period of time, we can coach and handhold you to a point where you would qualify easily for many of these visa options, depending on the country you are focusing on. And more important is for you to gain global mobility, for you to be globally attractive. If you're interested in any of those services, you can go to the link on your screen, bincom.net/emigrate. Emigrate is spelled EMIGR and then the number 8. You can go to that link for you to take a look at the services, and then you can request for a specific service as well. One of them is the open day that we are having today, and our guest, I see him already, is in the room. I'll be handing over to him in a couple of minutes as well. We have the Emigrate Circle, which is a premium community. We also have a mentoring platform. These are some of the other things we have within the Bincom ecosystem that is useful for people as well. One of the ways you can show yourself as globally attractive is by mentoring other people. 1 hour a month, 1 hour, 2 hours a month or thereabout. But that in itself is very useful. The key caveat, particularly for the technician route, is that it has to be a formal mentoring platform. And that's a platform that we are piloting at the moment, and we are going to launch live sometime soon. The link is on your screen. You can go to that link and then register as a mentor, particularly if you have over 10 years of experience in the field of technology. If you are just starting in the field of technology, or you're a couple of years in and you need direction, we also have the Global Tech Program by Bincom Dev Center. And the Global Tech Program is a program that takes you through a journey over a 1 to 2 year period of you learning skills, gaining experience, and also gaining exposure. How that works is very simple. Everything that you need to get to the other end of being an experienced, a junior developer, and so on, you are able to get that along this journey. And it gets more interesting because the coaching session, the Emigrate Premium I mentioned earlier, is actually incorporated into this program. The cost of the program is 1.2 million naira. However, you do not have to pay anything at the beginning of the program. The way the program is structured is that you can pay once you start earning high income in the field of technology. And so if you're interested in that, we say learn tech now, pay later. You can go to the link on your screen to register for that particularly. And I'm going to be handing over to our guest now. He's already in the room. He's going to introduce himself, but he's a medical doctor, Dr. Jossy. Welcome. And we really thank him for being here. As I mentioned earlier, if you haven't done so already, if you have specific questions, please post your questions in the chat so we can get to it right after his session. So that being said, welcome everyone once again, and we hope that you have a fantastic time during today's session. So I'm going to make Dr. A co-host, and you're welcome, sir. You're on mute.
I can hear me now.
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So, thanks, buddy. Lovely. Yeah, thanks for welcoming me, and lovely to meet you all. So I guess my role today, right, is to talk about my journey. And one thing I want to let you know is if I can get the exceptional talent visa, right, through the technician route as a medical personnel, right, imagine what you can do as someone that has a tech background, you know. So let me start from the beginning. So my background, right, I am a medical doctor, but I'm more focused in digital healthcare, okay? So by training, I'm a GP by training, but then I left clinical practice. Not that I left, I kind of changed my focus, right, to digital healthcare. So in medicine, right, there is no training for you to be in digital healthcare. So I had to go find my own way by getting that, like getting my hands dirty. So that means I joined startups in the past, you know, to learn a bit about how digital healthcare works. I joined hackathons, I joined programs, right? I actually went through online courses to kind of upskill myself, to learn a lot about digital healthcare, you know, and how to start a company within the space, because that have always been my dream. And yeah, and after that, you know, I just went for it, right? I started my own company, and that's why I'm here, you know. So the company I founded is called Bodout. What we do is we are a virtual therapeutic clinic for gastrointestinal conditions, right? So we manage patients and people with chronic GI issues, you know, so that's basically what we do. And that was what I was endorsed for. So I'm currently endorsed as an exceptional talent in health tech. You know, that's my route, okay? So taking a step back, right? So how do you get endorsed, right? So firstly, you need to look at, if you want to get endorsed, right, you need to look at the criteria, to see if you need to look at TechNation platform to see if you're eligible, okay? It's simple. I can actually share a document after this, because this is something I share to people that ask me the question, how do I get this visa? So you go to TechNation platform, and they have like some sort of checker, you know, that let you know if you're eligible, right? So once you're on that platform, most of what you say is they want to see that one, you like, they have like what is known as main criteria and then supporting criteria, right? They want to see, for example, like you started a company before, or you've gone through training to upskill yourself, you know, to show like you want to be a better developer, better data scientist, better designer. Then they want to see that you've been part of a startup, right? Before, you know, you've joined a company or a startup in the tech space. They want to see that you've mentored people, you know. So have you done mentorship to secondary school students in Nigeria, or primary school, whatever? Like, put that in, right? Like, you want to show that you've mentored people. They also want to see that you've joined hackathons, right? So like, you love innovation enough, right, to want to create new things. You know, you care about creating new solutions and bringing them out to the world, you know. So that's one of the things that's one of the things they want to see. So after checking, right, after you check like the TechNation platform and you see where you fall under, right, you could either be exceptional talent or exceptional promise. By the way, sorry, like, when I did mine, right, there was nothing like global talent. So now they have this global talent visa, right? When I did mine, it was about 3 years ago. So that was, then we had the exceptional talent, exceptional promise. That was the route. But they've both been merged and now called global talent visa. And under global talent visa, you have the exceptional talent, exceptional promise. So yeah, so you'll see the criteria we made, gather anything you can gather, right? So what I did was, after checking the eligibility criteria, I went out, and started looking at documents and things I can gather. So for example, there was a press mention, right, of an hackathon I went to and we came first. I took a screenshot of that. That was one of my criteria. That was something I presented. They don't care that it's authenticated or whatever, like provided you can show some form of evidence, that you've done really great stuff, So yeah, so gather anything you can gather. Get statement of later from your previous companies, previous bosses, programs you've been through, courses you've attended. Of course, for you guys that are developers, you will need to show your GitHub repo, for example, or Bitbucket, whatever you use, it's up to you. So they would like to see that, because for tech people, they do have, I think they do review a bit of review, like they'll check out your codes a bit, I think so. So yeah, so what I did was to gather all the documents. So got recommendation letters from people I've worked with. Ideally, you want to get strong recommendation letter. So ensure the person you're getting the letter from is high up, someone that has some weight. The name has some weight, kind of, Yeah, so I did that. Got that because I did have companies. It's not sorry. I founded and I was part of companies in Nigeria. So I actually used the CAC certificate. So if you have a CAC certificate for a company you've been part of, that's really useful. And of course, like for me, I was so lucky, right? I was featured my previous startup. I was featured in TechCrunch, Mashable, because I've done something that was a bit global before. So I took like clippings from those platforms, and then attached it. And the most important bit, I think, is your personal statement, right? So for the personal statement, you need to spend time on your statement. You need to reflect, like show your passion, show your skills, show your creativity, Also reference the stuff you've put in the evidence, right? So for example, if you started a company, right, and your CAC certificate was part of your evidence, right? You want to write in your personal statement like, oh, I started company XYZ. We raised so amount of money. We had this scale of sales. You want to show them you've done this. You've really done this. So you know what? Just put whatever you presented as your evidence in your personal statement. You also want to let them know in your personal statement what you're doing now. What you've been doing before. And what you plan to do in the UK, right? So that's something they want to know. Like, for example, for me, I said, I want to settle in this country. I want to give birth, like start my family, mentor future British kids, retire, become a VC, blah, blah, blah. You want to show that you have long-term plan, because they don't want people that will just come and leave. They want people that will come, settle, make the country better, so that's something you want to tell them. And yeah, like apart from so after gathering this document, right, all you just have to do is, like pitch yourself, so as if you're pitching to a VC or to an employer. So yeah, so I pitched myself to them and I applied and yeah, and I got it, right? For me, my application was actually really, really fast, right? It took 2 weeks for me to get my application because I was on fast track. Because unlike most of you guys that will go through the tech route, I was in the med tech, right? Health tech route, right? So there are actually few doctors going into tech, so they wanted people like me, and it was really quick. And before I knew it was approved, right? And then yeah, and after approval, after you get endorsed, that's the easiest, like that's the most difficult bit. The rest is just easy, right? Once you get the endorsement, though they said it doesn't assure you that you get the visa, but that's a lie, right? As soon as you get the endorsement, the visa part is easy. The visa part is just like going to the embassy and just doing biometric. That's it, Actually, I was unfortunate. Oh my God, yes, I remember this. So for me, so I was in the UK, right? And I went back to Nigeria to apply for, because I was in the UK on what is called, back then, there's this visa known as prospective entrepreneur visa. It's a visitor visa, right? But it's for people that want to become entrepreneurs in the UK. So I was in that visa, but I needed to go back to Nigeria to switch my visa, right, to the new one, to do the biometric, right? I went to Nigeria and I had to do TB test because I wasn't in the UK for more than 6 months. So I had to do the TB test. Funny enough, the TB center messed up and they said in my x-ray, they thought I had TB. So I had to do the culture, right? That takes like 4 to 6 months. I'm like, oh my God, like that's crazy, you know? I told them that's wrong. I know why they thought I had TB because I've worked because before I came to the UK, I was working in an infectious diseases world, right? It's just basically cold and cough, you know, that was happening then. And I had to do the like sputum culture, right? I tried as much as possible to get them to do what's called gene expert. So gene expert is actually a new way a modern way to kind of find out if someone has TB, right? But they wouldn't do that, right? They say I had to wait 4 to 6 months. So I had to wait in Nigeria. It was so annoying and frustrating. Like, oh my God, because my startup was already running in the UK. I needed to come back to the UK to run my company, but I had to wait in Nigeria for like 4 to 6 months. So yeah, so pray that you don't get like the OTB thing, you know. So yeah, so apart from that, it's pretty straightforward, you know, like just got the visa and moved to the UK. The good news is I don't have to work for anyone. I don't need anyone to sponsor me. I can study also if I want to. Of course, for now, because I've not yet converted to permanent residency, which I would get actually, or I'll get August this year, you actually have to pay the foreign fees if you decide to take like a master's or whatever, right? But as soon as you convert to permanent residency, you would actually, you know, like if you want to get more degrees or masters or PhD, you pay the same fee as British citizens, you know. So yeah, so it lets you do whatever you want to do, you know. You after 3 years, if you're in the exceptional talent, right, you get to move to permanent residency after 3 years, and in your 4th year you get citizenship. So you see, you don't have to go to Canada to get citizenship. You know, everyone, I want to go to Canada, blah blah blah. It's a lie. You can come to the UK. It's actually better, faster, and it's closer to Nigeria, right? 6 hours. Plus, you won't die of cold. So the UK is actually a good option. So 4 years in the UK, you get citizenship. If you're an exceptional talent, if you're an exceptional promise, 6 years, you get citizenship. On your 5th year, you get permanent residency. So yeah, so I'm actually going to apply for my permanent residency in August. So this is my 3rd year. And then after that, citizenship. So yeah, so that's the good thing about this visa. You can renew it also. If you don't want to apply for permanent residency or citizenship, you can actually renew for 5 more years. So they're going to give you a 5 years visa, straight up 5 years. Then you get another 5 years if you want to renew. It's up to you. So yeah, so it's pretty straightforward, right? And for me, right, like the good thing about this, for example, is my company now, right, in the UK actually has tier 2 visa sponsorship. So I'm not just only on the tier 1. I can actually bring people to the UK myself, you know. So for example, we're currently sponsoring about 3 people in the company, right? So that means I can actually sponsor you to come to the UK if I want to, for example, you know. So you see the advantages, right, of being on exceptional talent means, you know, you have your own thing, you are the boss, you can even bring other people to the country. Yeah, that's pretty much my journey. Do you want to ask me any other? Is there anything I missed, buddy? Yeah, just let me know.
So I guess I would just ask a few questions, I guess, is in the minds of some of the people, particularly because you took the non-technical route per se. So one of them is that, do I have to, as a non-technical person, to start a company for me to be able to qualify?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's a good one. You don't have to, right? You certainly don't have to. And also, right, non-tech person can mean different thing, right? You have to look at what's your role, right? Is your skill something people want, for example? Is your skill something the country wants, right? So, for example, I'm into medtech, so that's something people want. Trust me, like people, like if I quit my company today, I know a lot of companies that would rush me, right? Another thing that I've seen in non-tech, people want product managers, people want designers, for example, right? The UK doesn't have really good, they don't have good designers, right? Is that your role? Then you should apply, right? Because they want to see you come to the country and support the industry. So just look at what you offer and just ensure you show and you emphasize on what you do and why you're unique. It's like you pitch yourself, basically, you know. Um, and just believing in your ability, right? And just gather as many evidence as possible. You don't need a company. What you can do also would be just show you, for example, you've contributed to your community. You know, you've joined other companies. Like you've been a part of a startup, right? If you can get a good endorsement later from a founder, that's great. You know, have you mentored people before? You know, in your space, for example, let's say you are a designer, right? Have you written a paper, for example? That might be a good point for you. That might be a good evidence, right? Around like design or like best design or like what have you done to show like you stand out, you know? The good news is there's the exceptional promise. So if you've not yet started a company, you want to show you have a like you have a there's a promise. Let me put it that way.
Potential,
You
yeah,
know?
potential.
Yeah, there's a potential basically. You know, like you're someone that in the future will be a leader, right, in your space. Yeah, basically that's it.
Interesting. Before I ask the next question, if you have questions, please don't forget, drop them in the chat. It will help the conversation. Aside from medical, are there other like hot sectors at the moment? You did mention that because you were a medical doctor in tech, you were able to get fast track. Aside from medical, are there other tracks like that people should take another look at?
Yeah, like if fintech, oh my god, like Nigerians, you guys are already doing fintech in Nigeria, right? The UK loves fintech. If you're in fintech, come over. Like they actually have a fast track for people that are coming through fintech. So if you're interested in fintech, come over. They will give it to you. I think they also look at data, right? Like data scientists or like people that does like data and data science and AI, blah blah blah. You know, all those weird areas. So they do want people that are into data for sure. The next one I think it's that they do also appreciate a lot is, you know, people that are into like climate change, global warming, you know, like if you're innovating in that space, you're welcome to come to join. I don't know if this is being fast tracked, but one area the UK is always known to be really good, right? And they will appreciate more talent is cybersecurity. There's always room for people that are into cybersecurity in the UK because they are like a powerhouse in cybersecurity. So yeah.
Wow. All right. So there's a question I always like asking every guest on this open day series. And it's that we have three basic kinds of audience in the room today. And
Okay.
I was wondering what's your advice for each category. So we have people that have not even started their tech journey or are just taking their first tiptoe into the field of technology, either just graduated from school or trying to switch career and all of that. So let's say 0 years of experience or a few months of experience in the field of tech. What can they do, or what would you advise them to do? Would they be able to qualify ever? What do you see from that perspective? I will talk about the other two, but what would you advise this particular category?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So I actually didn't tell my full story. I just went straight to the visa thing, right? So one thing I can tell you guys for sure is it's never too late, right? Because for example, before I went to med school, I used to, when I was like in my early days, right, I could actually say in Nigeria, I actually was one of the first people to access the internet. Let me just put it that way. In a way, you know, like I was so, when I used to like solve or have my computer in my house or whatever, people didn't even know what computer was, I guess, back in those days, you know, like when I was young. So I've always been into tech, right? But then, you know, I didn't really get it from my education, right, in it, right? So what I've done is I've learned on my own, you know, like trying to learn a lot. For example, in my company, right, I'm not just a medical doctor, like in the company. No, I am a product manager, and I don't just do product management, right? I do user experience design, you know, user research. Like that's the field I decided to focus on. Before I even got there, in the past, I used to learn, like I learned how to like do some coding, right? HTML, CSS, PHP back in those days. But I decided, you know what, programming is not for me. I don't want this. I want to be a manager. I want to focus on product because that's what I love. So I learned a lot of these skills, and that allowed me to, you know, set up what I've done today. And that made me, like, I can actually boast, like, there's actually a few doctors that actually know product like me, you know, and that makes me like valuable when I'm, you know, like, even if I'm not doing my own startup, you know. So what I'm trying to say is you can transition from whatever you're doing, you know, like, hey, I wasted, not wasted, I paid a lot of money to become a doctor, but yeah, am I right doing digital healthcare, right? Like not practicing and do my own thing. Um, so you can transition, you can move from whatever you're doing to tech, design, product management, you know. It's about time, right? Like no rush, you know, just keep up doing what you're doing, keep up learning. Join program like the one Bad is offering. You know, mentor people, be mentored, learn online, learn from their school. It's going to take you a year or two, you know, before Nigeria becomes so worse or become very bad, you'll be ready to move, you know. So start today. Yeah,
Okay.
and you get there.
No. Thank you for that. So the message to that category is start today and then take the journey as quickly as possible. So what about people that have already started 4 years, 3 years experience, 4 years experience in the field of tech, junior developer, junior project manager or product manager, and trying to understand, okay, what should be my next step? That's the second type of audience that we have in the room. What would be your advice to them?
Yeah, for those set/category, what I would say is it's time to differentiate yourself, right? Do you want to be a junior developer forever? You know, like I do know people that have 10 years, right? I've seen them because I recruit people, right? So I give them a test. But them having 10 years doesn't mean they're senior, you know, they're still junior. So far that I'm concerned, you know. So the point is, do you want to be a junior developer forever? Of course not, right? So try to distinguish yourself. So that's not just about your coding, right? You want to be involved in leadership role. You want to be writing papers. You want to become thought opinion leader, you know, in your space. You want to stand out, you know. You want to do open source projects. You want to do hackathon. You want to also start your own company, right? Like what's stopping you from starting a side also, you know? So this is your chance and your time to like upskill or like upskill yourself, I guess. You know, like get out there and do more. That would also that would actually, you know, like improve your community, which is Nigeria, and would also give you, you know, the right qualifications to scale globally. So scale globally for you will mean like you can go to the UK, to Canada, to US, you know. Yeah, just stand out.
Thank you. And then for the third category, these are experts, 10 years experience in the field of technology, being in IT in a bank for ages and all of that. And now they are looking at, tech-enabled visa pathways. What would be your advice to them?
My advice would be, Baba, make una japa today. So basically, I think you guys have what you need. You know, you have everything, right? You just have to gather all those qualifications and all what you've done, gather the evidence, um, and believe in yourself and apply, right? The good thing is Nigerian talent are really, really hot right now everywhere, Canada, US, the UK. So yeah, worst case scenario, you don't get global talent, but you can also get tier 2, right? You can be employed by someone, but yeah, like if you really want to move, if you feel you want to go out there, right, to do something different and then go back to the country, something in the future, because we advise people to go back, right? We all want to go back in the future, but it's still
With
our
money.
country. Exactly, with the money. So yeah, so make that move now and go back. And I guess like there's a lot of people out there already, right? So you can ask questions to people that have made that have made the move, learn from them and follow their path. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The pathway they took, basically. Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned some visa pathway. So we've spoken about the technician visa. You've spoken about tier 2 visa. I would like you to speak a bit more about that for those that are not familiar with what that means. And then are there other options for that category that they should consider, go Google or go research and things like that you can point them to?
Yeah, cool, sure. So tier 2 visa is actually now called the skilled worker visa because of the whole Brexit thing, right? The good thing about tier 2 visa is before, right? Actually, people in tech have always been lucky, right? Because for tech, like technical people, right? You don't like an employer doesn't have to. It has always been the case. An employer doesn't have to advertise the role, right, to British citizens or to EU citizens before employing you. But in other departments, like I think design wasn't part of it too, but like product manager, for example, right? Before, right, a company has to first offer that role to British citizens or EU citizens before giving it to you as a non-EU British, So it was difficult before, but because of Brexit, the skilled worker visa route is actually the best now because everyone is on equal footing, right? So if I have a role today, I don't need to bother myself whether there's someone that is British that would get the role. No, like you don't need to advertise, right? You just post the job for, of course, you need to post the job to recruit, right? But you don't have to you don't have to go through the 30 days compulsory government advertisement on the government platform. You just recruit whoever you want to recruit and you sponsor the person. You give person the COS, the certificate of sponsorship, and then you can move over, right? Good thing also is because of the Brexit, right? A lot more companies are getting the sponsorship. Because before, right, companies were like, sorry, we don't offer visa sponsorship. The reason why they did that before was it was easier for them to employ people from Europe than to waste their time employing someone from Nigeria or US or wherever, right? But because of this Brexit, this skilled visa requires EU citizens actually need the skilled visa too, so they can't actually employ someone from the EU without getting the sponsorship license. So now most companies now have sponsorship license, so there's way more opportunities. Everyone is on equal footing. You don't have to you can actually get a job ahead of someone from EU, So yeah, so it's actually an amazing route now. So a lot of companies are recruiting. Like I said earlier, they love Nigerian talent. So yeah, so why not? You can always apply through that route. And yeah, like the route gives you three years visa, and that can also lead to citizenship, right? So for that route, actually, the truth is the tier 2 visa route, actually, there is no difference between the tier 2 and the exceptional promise when it comes to citizenship, right? Because when you're on tier 2 visa, right, you can get your permanent residency within 5 years and your citizenship in the 6th year, right? So it's same. The only difference is you can't do whatever you want to do. So which means you have to be under that sponsor, right? You can't work any other place. The only work allowed beside your full-time job is you can do 20 hours per week, I think, per week, yes. Side job, right? But that's not enough, If you go above that, they can cancel your visa, they can blacklist you. So that's the difference. Why? Right? In exceptional promise under the global talent, you can do whatever you want to do. You have no restriction. but other than that, it's amazing. You know, like you still get, you know, like the goal for us is, at least for most people, is once you come here, you want to get the citizenship before you go back. You know, so.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
does make sense. Before I jump to the next question, I'm not seeing questions in the chat. This is a very interesting audience. Typically, we have loads of questions, but I guess the audience is getting what they need already. Before I jump to the next question, how do they apply? So tier 2 visa, if somebody wanted to use that route, are there a particular website they can apply to? Does your company still have more vacancies? That would be interesting to know.
Yeah, thank you. So for the tier 2, you don't have to actually apply to a website, right? You just have to apply for a job. Okay, so you need to apply for a job. So are you interested in fintech, medtech, prop tech, property tech, or whatever, right? So look for companies in your place of interest, right? Because you don't want to move to the UK and start working in a company that you don't like, right? So look for a company you like, you know, look for the job role you like, apply for the job. And once you get the job, they will sponsor you, right? Especially what you need to look at when you're looking at the job JD, job description, right? Is look for where it says visa sponsorship, right? Do they offer that or not? You know, if there's no, if they don't have visa sponsorship in the JD, apply, and then you can ask them during the interview, for example, right? So apply for that, and then, you know, like once you've been offered the job, they will sponsor you for sure. Note though, let me note something to say. Visa sponsorship, right? Some companies will pay for all your visa processes and you moving over. But some companies, visa sponsorship means they're only giving you the COS, right? You're gonna do the whole visa processing yourself, which is still fine, but it's not so expensive. It's not gonna cost you a lot. It's like £1,000 or 1,000 whatever. You know, like my point is, visa sponsorship doesn't mean they'll pay for everything. You know, it's not like sponsorship means that COS for some people, but for bigger companies, you get full sponsorship, right? For my company, yes, I'm recruiting right now for developers, full stack, you know, senior developer for sure. So yeah. So if there's anyone interested or know anyone that's interested, please let me know.
Okay.
The only thing though is so yes, we can sponsor, we can bring people to the UK, but we are actually changing the company. So the UK company, even though we will still maintain our visa sponsorship license, is going to be like a subsidiary. We are flipping the company to a US company, so we are taking our headquarters to the US.
Oh.
Yeah. So that is about my company. You can actually apply.
Yeah. All right. Some people are already saying they are interested. Where can they apply to your company? Is there a website for the company where they can apply?
So we used to have an angel list posting, right? But then I got like lots of market like agencies telling me, blah blah blah, recruiters. It was so annoying. So we took it down. So what we can do is, I think I can give my email to Bade, and then he can send that to you guys, if that's okay. And then
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Not a problem. We could do that.
That's fine. Like not my personal email though. Not my personal email.
Okay, fantastic.
I'll send you a different email.
Yes, I was going to advise on that as well. So
yeah.
Fantastic. So my last question, since we don't have so many questions in the room, is that in your own case, based on the story you mentioned, you already had some global exposure before you applied for the technician visa.
Yeah.
Right? Is that like a requirement? Is that something that others should first seek? Or are there things that they can do without? Is this something they can do without even that kind of background?
No, you don't really need to. You don't really need a global exposure to get the technician visa. You know, but it's useful, right? Like it gives you an extra edge. But if you don't, it's fine. Like you just have to apply with what you have. I know people that actually have almost nothing, right? And they got it, right? You just have to believe in yourself, believe in what you want to do, and then you apply and you get it. One thing I can also say, and I can actually do now, give me a minute, is There's actually this accelerator, right? that is recruiting for a new batch. They are looking for engineers to join their program, right?
Okay.
This accelerator, right, allows you to start a company, right? They also are recognized by the government. So if you go through this accelerator, you can actually apply for technical visa, like the global talent visa, and you get it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this accelerator program. Give me a minute. They are currently recruiting for a new cohort. It has to do with healthcare though. So you have to be, no, but you don't have to be a doctor though. You just have to be willing to innovate around that space. And
Okay.
that will be good. Give me a minute, let me share that with you guys.
That's fine. While you look for that, somebody is asking that applying through the student visa route or the tier 2 route, which would you advise? Some people advise student visas before you student visa rather than the tier 2. What would you advise?
Student visa before tier 2.
No,
so
the question is, I assume this person is in Nigeria, and that's an advice I've heard a lot of people saying, okay, fine, just apply to a school, get into school, and then you get to stay in the UK for 3 years or 2 years actually. But people don't realize that those 2 years does not count towards settlement. But I think they're asking to say, what's your own opinion? Student visa or just apply tier 2?
So student visa is one route, right? It's actually a good route, okay? So it's actually quicker because it's basically you paying for your moving, right? So you have money. Let's say you have some loose 12K somewhere, you say, you know what, I want to move to the UK. You take that 12K, you pay for your 1 year master's at University of East London, or the popular one, University of Coventry, So you go to Coventry, you do your master's, right? The good news now is you can stay, right, for 2 years after your master's. So that's great. Okay, so that's good. But then you need to look for a job, right? So let's say you do your master's in, let's say, game design, for example, right? At Coventry. It doesn't mean after that, like within that year, you get a job, right? So you still need to move to tier 2 anyway, right? So if you can get a job right now in tier 2, that's better, But if you can't and you don't want to be kidnapped, yes, you can move to the UK, with your tier 4, right? Tier 4 is a student visa, and then from the UK, right, you then apply for job, but you have 2 years to apply for job before you go back. So it still works. It's based on your condition, I guess. Like if you can't get a job now and you really want to leave the country, right? Why not, like get the student visa, come to the, I actually know someone, I shouldn't say this, but anyway, I'll say it. So I know someone that came to the UK, right, on a student visa to study
It's been recorded, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
Okay.
But I'm just trying to say I shouldn't advise people to go through this route, but this can work for someone, right? So this guy came to the UK to study his master's. What he did was he dropped from the master's and joined the British Army. Okay, that gives you automatic visa, permanent. That's a permanent route to like permanent residency. So that might actually work for you. So you can come here, join the British Army, become a soldier, and get your citizenship. That's some other route. Though the only bad thing is this guy was sent to Afghanistan once, and he said, you know what, it's not going to do that again. So it's risky, but it also works. So yeah. So that's that. But like they won't ask you questions if you want to go to the army. So far as they say, okay, you are fit, you want to do this, you say yes, you're good to go. You don't even need a degree to join. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would say to the audience that there are easier routes. Put in the work, learn the programming, for example, build a startup, for example. There are several options to that you can do instead of you joining the army, but there are different options. Someone says, and I think this would be the last question, I'm fresh in the UK. and would like to switch into tech from my accounting background, it's a question for us actually. How could I access training from your company? Most of our trainings are actually digital, so you can use something like the Global Tech Program, for example, will be something that will work for you, particularly if part of your journey is also this Emigrate coaching and all of that, because literally speaking, you get the Emigrate coaching for free in that route. I'll put up the link to the Global Tech Program again, and there are several other trainings that we do have available as Bincom. If you just search for Bincom Academy, you'll find that there. Since we are speaking Emigrate, I have to also mention that it's not only Bincom that does some of the tech trainings and all of that, but I would recommend us any day, anytime. Yes, so I thought that last question was for you, but it isn't. I was just going to share this for some people that may be joining this open day for the first time. This is the Tech Nation website. If you just search for Tech Nation Visa, you will find this page, and on this page has a lot of information as regards the visa that Dr. Jossy spoke about initially. That visa, if you qualify as exceptional talent, it's a gold standard in visas, because within 4 years, you can become a British citizen, as he explained. First 3 years, you get your ILR, indefinite leave to remain, which is the equivalent of the permanent residency as you will hear in Canada. And then after 1 year, you can apply to be a British citizen. Or if you get exceptional promise to say that you're a promising talent, you would get that same thing, but in 6 years. So 5 years first, and then by your 6th year, you would get British citizenship. You can find this site and you can take a look at all the details in terms of what you need to be able to qualify on this route and all of that. One of the things that we say is this, that you should start planning now. If you know that your question paper and the answer expected is ABC, and you want to be able to get that ABC within the next 2 years, then why don't you start today for you to be able to get the ABC? And for some of us on the call, we already qualify. We are trying to put together applications and all of that. We advise that please get someone to take a look at that application for you, preferably not your wife or your husband, who will just say, hey, oh, it looks good, and then you go submit. Try and make sure that you package it properly and you tell your story properly. These are some of the skills that Tech Nation has published that they are looking for, but I would mention that they did say that this is not an exhaustive list, meaning that you can have other skills that are not explicitly listed on this list that would qualify. The only one that they have said does not qualify is that don't come and say, I am a consultant, and so I want to apply. No, they prefer that you have something that is tech-enabled and not a consulting gig, or that you're an analyst in an organization, because it doesn't look like you are going to add value or create value. Somebody did ask about the Global Tech Program. That's the link to the program. You can take a look at that. I recommend it. And if you can take down the link immediately, so that in case you want to apply for that, you can. In terms of Emigrate, we have a bunch of services that would interest you, starting with the monthly open day. The next open day is on June 2nd, and we'll be speaking about North America, particularly the graduate assistant route in America. That's what we'll be looking at on June 2nd, but of course we'll speak about some other routes that are available as well. So please look out for that in terms of the next open day. We do have a bunch of services within the Emigrate cluster that you may be interested in. For example, if you're trying to submit your application and you need someone to just take a look, then you may want to take a look at that. And we have the Emigrate Premium, which is more of a full coaching service within a 1 to 2 year period kind of thing. And I wanted to just say a few things about, do I need a coach? If I can do it myself, do I need a coach? Our answer is that yes, you probably do. And these are some of the things that a coach can probably do for you. Number one is committed to your success. We've been doing the Emigrate Open Day for about 7 or 8 months now. And we know people that have been saying, oh, I want to do it, I want to do it. But for 8 months that they've had some of this information, they haven't even taken 2 steps, whereas they need to get to step 100. A coach is able to help you in that kind of situation. A coach is able to provide for you a wider vision for some of the things that you need and some of the things you may not know. To have your back in terms of measuring your progress, to say, oh, if this is a 1-year journey, if this is a 3-year journey, how far have you gone? If you need to submit products on GitHub, if you need to speak at events, all of those kind of things, these are things that you may be interested in. And there are several other things along that line. Now, the interesting thing is this list is a list about coaching generally, not particularly on this tech-enabled route, but that same thing applies on this as well. That being said, if you're interested in any of the Emigrate services, whether it's free, whether it's paid, the link is on your screen. You can take a screenshot and go there later on, or you can simply send an email to emigrate@bincom.net. I want to make sure that there's no last minute question. Dr. Jossy, I don't know if you have some final word for the audience while I take a look at if there's any last minute question.
Yeah, so what I would say is, like, just apply, like, just believe in yourself, take your time to study the materials, right, on like the Emigrate platform, on TechNation platform, like, ensure you understand the process, gather all the needed documents, gather anything you can gather, it's like, you can't over promise, you can, so it's better to provide as much document as possible, and then just apply, and you never know. So yeah, so just go for it. That's my final word, I guess.
Thank you so much for that. And there was one last minute question there saying that proof of fund has always been a constraint. Most of the route that we've spoken about right now does not require proof of fund. So please do your research properly. Yes, there are visa routes that requires proof of fund, but the ones we've spoken about, particularly on today's edition, does not require it. And so please do your research about that. Go ahead.
Yes, let me just add to what Bade said, right? So when I applied, right, I'm pretty sure I had no money in my account, so you don't need to show anything. They will never ask for your money, for your account. There's no account statement nowhere. Like, they don't care. So they just want your talent. So yeah.
Wow. Thank you for that. And I think with that, we've come to the end of today's edition. Remember what he said, and I think those are my own takeaway. They are not really looking for your money. What they are looking for is your talent, because they expect you to come and build their economy. Dr. Jossy spoke about the fact that he has created new roles within the UK, and he's adding value. And all those are the things that each one of these economies are looking for. It's not just the UK. We were speaking about the UK particularly today, but several other countries also are looking for valuable people. But they are not just looking for the bottom of the pile. They are looking for that you should show yourself as exceptional, that you are globally attractive. What that also means is the fact that aside from you migrating, there are several other options for you. You can decide to stay within the continent. You can decide to go anywhere. You can decide to be traveling from one country to the other, and so on. The key point is that if you are globally attractive, you have many options. And those options are the things that we're encouraging you to please take a look at the information available. Start planning towards it. It will not just come to you. You have to put in the work. We wish you the very best, and we hope that you do take action as well. Thank you so much, Dr. Jossy. We really, really appreciate you and the time you've dedicated to today's session. Thank you so much.
No worries. Yeah, no worries. Lovely to support. And wish you guys the very best.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. All right.
Thanks. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye. Cheers.